Okay, question number 5, and we begin with Mr. Goodwin. Once again, a direct quote. As we gear up for the 2008 hurricane season, what's the state of our coastal property insurance market? Could North Carolina end up like Florida with the real insurance market price and availability crisis if we get hit with a storm or storms this year? End quote. And I would remind you that last year there were 2 Category 5 storms. Fortunately, Central America not here. But you understand the question, Mr. Goodwin.
I do. That's an excellent question, because I think that's probably the most pressing thing for us as we head into the hurricane season. We have been blessed not to have been hit by a Hurricane 4 or 5 storm in a long time, but we are going to have one in the near future. The reserves are not adequate. We need leadership. We need an insurance commission, a Department of Insurance, who will go to the legislature and say this is an emergency. Because when we are hit by such a tragic storm, and I'm sad to say that statistically it will happen at some point, we need to have ample reserves. That means asking the legislature and the industry to come together through either study committees or through direct legislation to bolster those reserves. Take any monies that may be deemed excess, pump them back in and keep them into the reserves and build that up. I'm open to any recommendations to help do that. We cannot afford, as a state, or as business owners, or as consumers, to be like Florida. We want to keep as many carriers here in the state to provide coverage. The beach plan needs help. And you need someone who already has the relationships in the legislature and is already working with folks to help come up with solutions on that. And once we get into this legislative session, you're going to hear some ideas out there that are going to be moving forward as we head into the long session for 2009. I wish we could say that we had solutions now, but there's been greater attention on other areas of the insurance market. I'm the leader you need to help us address this concern on the coasts of North Carolina.
Mr. Smith, 2 minutes.
Well, I'm intrigued by the idea that now the fact that he's in the department hasn't provided leadership up till now. This is a situation that's been a brewing crisis for years. We have $700 million in what can barely be called reserves because of the untenable legal state of the beach plan. In my mind, we have to make it clear that the beach plan is a nonprofit and that they can hold on to and keep the reserves that they have. We've paid out money over the last 10 years in profits to the companies that are involved in the beach plan, not because those companies wanted the money, but because the way that the beach plan is set up hasn't been fixed up until now. And instead of having $700 million in reserves, we might have billions of dollars in reserves. That issue hasn't been addressed. And we're in a state now where, God forbid, a storm hit us this year. If a storm hit North Carolina this year of a Category 3 or greater, it would mean probably losses in the insurance, to insurance companies and to consumers in North Carolina of over $2 billion that would be unfunded by the beach plan today. And that could mean undoubtedly the loss of a number of insurance companies and a lot of jobs in the state of North Carolina, because those monies would have to come from somewhere. There's been no leadership on this issue up until now. The issue is being raised because it is beyond a crisis. It was a crisis 5 years ago. It is a horrifying situation
30 seconds.
to imagine that we could have a hurricane this year and literally run companies out of business because we haven't done anything up until now.
Mr. Goodwin, brewing crisis for many years could lead to losses of $2 billion, and we're not prepared to deal with that.
I agree with that, but I also want to point out that it's obviously Mr. Smith was unaware until this campaign, that the Commissioner of Insurance is also the State Fire Marshal. I'm the Assistant State Fire Marshal as well as the Assistant Commissioner. And in that role, I've been working with home builders, general contractors, the Building Code Council, legislators from down east, and fire marshals, you name it, all across the state to help build up our protections against windborne debris, to help ensure we have stronger building codes, to make sure that North Carolina is not going to be the lone state out there compared to every other state in terms of protections from hurricanes. That's one way we have provided leadership. Sure, we haven't been able to succeed on everything we want. That's politics, David. Politics doesn't mean you get everything you want, but you try to do the very best you can. We've had some tremendous successes through issues regarding the building code, and I am certain of this, that Mr. Smith was not aware of what we do and what I do on that side of the coin until this campaign. There are ways to address this in addition to changing the insurance laws. You need to work with builders, contractors, the Building Code Council, and fire marshals, and that's where I've been leading.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, do you agree?
I don't agree that we've done something. If we had done something, we wouldn't have losses due to windborne damage right now. The reality of it is the building code can't be changed enough to keep a hurricane from coming on the shores of the state of North Carolina. And we have a system today that actually discriminates against people who live on the outside of the actual coastal area inside those counties that are affected by charging very high deductibles to those individuals. What we need on this is someone who's actually going to sit down and pay attention to it.
30 seconds.
I respect the fact that there are aspects of the Building Code Council and other parts of this job that are part of being the insurance commissioner, but the job is insurance commissioner, and the fact that people in the state of North Carolina who have houses on the coast or in the coastal plain of North Carolina are literally in a place where they could lose everything they own because we haven't taken leadership on the beach plan is a shame, and something will be done about it if I'm elected insurance commissioner.